Hello, I'm Bobby Hawk, and I'm running for re-election to the Blue Springs Board of Education. I've had the privilege to serve in this role for the past 3 years, and on April 5th, I hope to get your vote to continue to serve the staff and students of the Blue Springs School District. Now, each Friday I come to you with 5-Minute Fridays, so in about 5 minutes of our time together, I try to address questions that you might have or concerns that you might have, or sometimes just explaining in more detail the role of a board member in the school district. If you have some questions, you can submit those through my Facebook board page, or bobby@hawkforschoolboard.com is the email that you can send those to. Now, one of the questions that I get, and I'll be honest, this won't be the most interesting video that I've done during our 5-Minute Fridays, but it is about school finance. And that is an important role of board members to oversee the financial budget of a school district. In our case, that's around $190 million every year. With that said, it's important to probably understand the breakdown, why we do certain things, why we can't do certain things. And at the outset of this, I just want to remind you, it's very important to me anyway, that board members are volunteer positions. We're unpaid, which is important to me because it is an opportunity to serve the district, but it doesn't take away from any of the funds of the school district. Now, an $190 million budget, let's start with the income side. The income is primarily three sources: federal, state, and local. Federal makes up a little less than 10%. Usually state makes up a little less than 30%. And the remaining 60+% is primarily local funds. So from a federal level, we do get some support, which is good. From a state level, we're always hoping that they will fully fund the formula. That's how we refer to that. And it means how much we get per student in our school district, along with some of the transportation needs that they help with. And then the local, a lot of that comes from property tax. Now, we as a school board do not have anything to do with the assessment of your property and the taxes that are incurred, but we do get a percentage of that to help run the operations of the school district. The current tax levy for the Blue Springs School District is 5.7286. It's been that for a long time. Now, just a few months back in August, you approved no tax rate increase, bond, and levy transfer. And in a moment, I'll touch on how that works. On the expense side, about 80% of our expenses are staff. In other words, we're in the people business in the school district. We spend money on people because people make the difference in education. And so over $11 million every month is going towards the expenses that result from staffing. And so what's great about our business is we're in the people business and we get to spend money on people to help educate students. What's challenging is we don't get to control the income. We don't get to do additional things, offer products or sell services that would increase income. We're limited with what comes in from federal, state, and local money. Now, with that said, we also occasionally get extra money, and what you've possibly heard of has been ESSER funds, and that's a federal funding that has come through the state into the school district to help us with some of the pandemic-related costs in making sure that we catch students up. So let me take a few moments to touch on just the ESSER funds portion and how that works, and the bonds and levy and how that works, because I've been asked those questions quite a bit recently. So the ESSER funds, will get $19 to $20 million in total ESSER funds over several years. Now those funds are helping us with the hiring of virtual teachers that we did not have, continuing to keep staff on during the pandemic, even when we weren't in school and in session. Interventionists, the people we've brought into each school to help with some of the one-on-one and small group interventions to help students get caught up that maybe got behind due to the pandemic. From PPE equipment to technology like the one-to-one devices, all of that is included in these ESSER funds that are rolled out over several years. But again, it's a one-time thing. Keep in mind, $19 to $20 million sounds like a lot of money, but when we spend $11.2 to $11.3 million every month on staff, that money does go quick. Now, the other thing that's important to touch on are bonds and levies. How does that work and why do we do bonds? Well, bonds are the only way for school districts to do construction projects. We borrow money to build new facilities, to add classrooms, to enhance space, and then we pay that back through our taxes and through the tax levy that's set. A portion of our levy goes to pay down debt service. And when we do a tax levy transfer, and you as the voters approve that without increasing taxes, we're basically moving pennies from one account to the other, but those pennies add up. And that's how we pay a little less each year on debt service while still making sure that we're taking care of our bond debt and then putting a little bit back into operations. And through the last 2 bonds, you've helped us do that, and we've been able to hire additional staff and take care of some of the operational needs of the district while still doing a couple really large bond projects. One that we're still working to complete, which will be getting the freshmen over to the high school, in addition to the Career and Innovation Center renovations, and in addition to some of the classrooms, gymnasium, kitchens that we've been doing throughout the district. So you as the voters, you vote in a Board of Education that oversees about $190 million in funds. And our income is limited and our expenses are spent primarily on people, as they should be. But it is important to make sure to continue to vote for people who, one, understand the budget and bond process, who probably have at least some level of experience with understanding how budgets work, to make sure that they are going to be fiscally responsible, and to realize that when you vote those people in, your tax dollars and some of the other money that comes into the school district are then allocated by those people to make sure that students and staff are being taken care of and successful. And again, my purpose as a board member is to make sure that staff and students fulfill theirs. One of the ways I do that is on a Board of Education managing a $190 million budget, making sure that we can take care of the people in our district. I wish we could give teachers more than we do now. Would love to pay staff more. But again, we're limited to the income that comes in from outside sources, and to make the most of that for our people, which again, over 80% goes to people. I'll continue to be fiscally responsible as a board member to protect our investment, because our investment is our kids and their education. So I'd appreciate your vote on April the 5th. Again, in an unpaid position, it's an honor to serve and oversee the financial needs of the school district. And I'd love to continue to do that on April 5th. Thank you for your support. I'll talk to you again soon.